My beloved child, there are moments when the heart feels torn between what it sees and what it senses. You have felt that lately. You have looked into eyes that once held warmth, and you have seen shadows where light used to dwell. You have tried to convince yourself that love still lives there, that maybe you are imagining the distance, that maybe the silence is only a season. But something deep inside you knows that something has changed. You can't quite name it, but you feel it, the weight of unspoken truth pressing against your spirit. And tonight, heaven is whispering to you, God is not ignoring what you feel. He is preparing to show you what your heart could never uncover on its own. God sees the person who says all the right words but fails to live by them. He hears every promise spoken with trembling lips, and he watches the actions that contradict them. Love cannot survive long in the space between truth and deceit. God knows you have been patient, believing that if you love deeply enough, it will awaken honesty in the one who hides behind charm and excuses. But the Lord says, my child, you were never meant to beg for love that was promised but never given. There are people who love with their lips but not with their spirit. They admire you for the light you carry, yet they fear the exposure that light brings. Their hearts may hold a trace of affection, but their pride cannot sustain it. And so they pull back, sending mixed signals that keep you bound in confusion. God says, I am not the author of confusion, but of peace. If a connection drains your peace, it is not built on truth, it is built on the shifting sand of pretense. You have cried out for clarity, haven't you? You asked, Lord, if this person truly loves me, why do I feel so unseen? You prayed for a sign, and heaven has heard. This is that sign. The delay, the distance, the sudden change, none of it is random. God is letting certain things unravel because He is about to reveal what was never real. You see, God loves you too much to let you settle for half-hearted affection. He loves you too much to watch you be deceived by a smile that hides confusion. The truth you are about to witness may hurt, but it will heal you. The exposure coming your way is not punishment, it is mercy. God is not trying to shame anyone, He is trying to protect you from staying bound to someone whose words do not match their heart. There is a difference between someone who loves you in spirit and someone who loves you for what you represent. The first will nurture your growth, the second will fear it. When God begins to reveal, He does so in layers. First, He allows distance, so you begin to see how much energy you were giving to sustain what should have been mutual. Then, He allows their actions to contradict their promises, so that you can no longer deny what you already felt. Finally, He brings peace to your spirit, not because the situation changed, but because you changed. You stop chasing explanations and start trusting divine revelation. That is where you are now. Heaven is saying, do not interpret silence as rejection. Interpret it as direction. The one whose actions no longer match their heart is being allowed to drift because God is making room for something purer, more aligned, more reciprocal. You are not losing love, you are shedding illusion. You are not being abandoned, you are being positioned. Every tear you shed is watering the ground for a new beginning you cannot yet see. You may still feel drawn to the memories. That's normal. But memories are not instructions. The love that once felt sacred has now turned into a classroom. And God is your teacher, using the inconsistency of another person to strengthen your discernment. He is training your heart to recognize real love, the kind that doesn't disappear when things get difficult, the kind that doesn't say I love you while acting as if you are optional. You once asked God to show you His plan for your life. You didn't realize that He would have to remove the ones who cannot walk with you into that destiny. Sometimes the heartbreak is not betrayal, it is alignment. God is removing what would have delayed you. The exposure of truth may sting, but it is making space for the kind of love that mirrors divine commitment. The love that reflects God's faithfulness, not human inconsistency. There is someone you care for deeply, and God acknowledges that. He knows the sincerity in your prayers for them. You have said, Lord, I just want to love them the way you love me. But God replies, my love is pure, and pure love requires truth. You cannot love someone into honesty, you can only love them while staying honest yourself. The Lord is saying, do not lower your standard of truth to keep someone who hides behind half-truths. If they are meant for you, they will rise to meet the level of your integrity. Right now, you feel like you are in the dark, waiting for clarity. But light is coming. God is about to expose, not to humiliate, but to liberate. He will show you exactly where you stand, so that you no longer build your peace on assumptions. The sign you have been praying for will come in a way that leaves no room for doubt. It may be through a conversation, a sudden revelation, or even silence that speaks louder than words. But you will know. And when you do, don't resist it. Don't try to reinterpret what God makes plain. The human heart often tries to negotiate with truth, but truth never changes to suit emotion. God is asking you to trust Him enough to walk away from what no longer honors your peace. Because on the other side of obedience is restoration. On the other side of letting go is joy. On the other side of truth is freedom. Heaven whispers, you are not losing love, you are finding me in the process. Every time someone's inconsistency breaks your heart, it leads you closer to the one whose love never changes. God is reminding you that His love is not like human love, it does not fluctuate with mood or circumstance. His love stays. His promises stand. His actions match His words perfectly. And He is calling you to expect the same in those you allow into your heart. You have been too loyal to inconsistency. You have excused behavior because you saw potential. But God says, stop loving people for who they could be and start discerning who they choose to be. The gap between potential and choice is where heartbreak grows. When you cling to potential, you ignore patterns. But God reveals patterns to protect you. He is showing you what love looks like when it is genuine, and what it looks like when it is convenient. Don't be afraid of exposure. Exposure is light. It's not the end of love, it's the beginning of clarity. You are not being punished, you are being purified. The more you release what's false, the clearer your spiritual vision becomes. God is aligning you with people whose words will match their actions, whose hearts will match their promises. But He must first teach you the difference between affection and commitment. You are entering a season of divine discernment. Everything that once confused you will soon make sense. The same God who allowed the confusion is the one who will now bring the revelation. Every unanswered question will find resolution in His timing. But for now, He asks you to rest, not in what others do, but in who He is. You have tried to hold everything together, but God never asked you to be the glue. He asked you to be the vessel. When you let Him take control, He will do what your tears could not. He will speak to the heart that has gone astray. He will reveal the truth that words tried to hide. And when He does, you will see that His timing was not delay, it was protection. You may not see the whole picture yet, but you will. The story is not ending in heartbreak, it is ending in revelation. The truth will come, and when it does, you will not be shattered, you will be set free. Because God never exposes to destroy, He exposes to deliver. So breathe. Rest your soul in His promise. He is working behind the silence. He is preparing to answer the prayer you whispered in the dark. The one that said, Lord, if this isn't real, please show me. That prayer activated heaven's movement. And soon, what was hidden will be revealed. You will understand why certain conversations ended abruptly, why messages stopped coming, why the connection that once felt strong suddenly grew weak. It was never rejection, it was divine redirection. God was parroting what was not rooted in truth. There comes a point in every spiritual journey when God allows you to see people not through the eyes of your emotions, but through the lens of His truth. You have reached that point. The veil is thinning. What once looked like love is now being shown for what it truly is, a lesson dressed as a connection. You wanted to believe that love could fix what was broken, that patience could change the story, but deep down, you already sensed that something didn't align. And the Spirit of God is saying, I did not place you here to prove your worth to someone who cannot see your value. You tried to love them purely. You prayed over them, forgave them, stood beside them even when their silence screamed louder than their words. You thought your faithfulness would inspire theirs. But their inconsistency wasn't about your lack, it was about their battle with truth. Some people cannot love you right because they have never let God love them fully. And until that healing happens in them, their affection will always fall short. You may wonder, then why did God let me meet them? Because divine encounters are never wasted. God uses people, even the wrong ones, to prepare you for the right ones. He knew this connection would awaken parts of your heart that had been dormant. It taught you how deeply you can love, how patient you can be, how resilient you are. But it also taught you what love without honesty feels like. That experience was necessary so that you would never again settle for emotional confusion. God says, I allowed you to experience contradiction so you would learn discernment. There is a difference between someone who is emotionally available and someone who is spiritually aligned. The one who is aligned will not make you question your place in their life, because when something is ordained by heaven, peace confirms it. When it's not, anxiety exposes it. The uneasiness you've been feeling is not doubt, it's divine discernment alerting you that something is off. You've been praying for a sign, and God keeps sending you small confirmations, the sudden distance, the strange change in tone, the lack of follow-through. Those aren't coincidences, they are divine indicators. They're meant to wake you up, not wound you. Every inconsistency you see now is grace revealing what words tried to disguise. God doesn't want you to build a future on false foundations. If someone says they love you but their actions keep contradicting that love, then their heart is not in agreement with their spirit. God is about to reveal what lies beneath that contradiction. He is exposing motives, revealing hidden fears, uncovering secrets whispered in the dark. Not to shame, but to free. Because the truth that hurts will always hurt less than the lie that binds. You may think the exposure will destroy what you once hoped for, but what's real cannot be destroyed. Only illusion can crumble. God says, let it fall apart if it must. I am still with you in the ruins. The ending of something false is the beginning of something real. You've spent nights trying to understand how someone could claim to love you yet make you feel so unseen. But the Lord is saying, I am using their absence to bring you my presence. When people fade, He fills the gap. When their actions fall short, His grace steps in. This is not about rejection, it's about redirection toward divine intimacy. God is shifting your focus from needing reassurance from man to resting in the consistency of His love. You are being refined through revelation. The exposure that's coming will not be loud, it will be quiet but undeniable. You will simply know, it will come as peace after confusion, as clarity after chaos. And in that moment, you will feel heaven breathe over your heart and say, now you see what I was protecting you from. There are seasons where God speaks through signs, and there are seasons where He speaks through silence. You are in the season of silence that precedes revelation. Do not mistake it for absence. Silence is God's way of allowing the truth to echo louder than words. He is letting things unfold naturally so that when the truth is revealed, you won't have to question it. You will soon witness the unveiling, actions will confirm what your intuition already knew. But don't respond in anger or bitterness. Let grace guide you. The person whose actions failed their words is not your enemy, they are a mirror of brokenness. Pray for them, but do not stay bound to them. Love them from a distance if you must, but let God handle the rest. The Lord whispers, you were not called to chase explanations, you were chosen to carry revelation. You don't owe anyone proof of your worth. You don't have to convince someone to treat you right. True love will recognize you without persuasion. Real hearts do not need reminders of how to value someone sent by God. The exposure will sting at first. Truth always does. But after the sting comes peace, deep, unwavering peace. You will wake up one day and realize that the weight you were carrying was not love, it was attachment. Love feels light because it's aligned with truth. Attachment feels heavy because it resists reality. And you, beloved, are being freed from the heaviness. This season may feel like loss, but it's actually transformation. God is pruning you, cutting away what no longer bears fruit. The cutting hurts, but it also prepares you to blossom again. The pain you feel now will become the testimony you share later. You will look back and thank God not only for what He gave but for what He took away. Every unanswered call, every cold reply, every unfulfilled promise, all of it is part of the unveiling. God is aligning your spirit with His truth. He is showing you what loyalty looks like when it's genuine, and what affection looks like when it's performative. And when you see it clearly, you will stop begging for closure from people who were never open to begin with. The exposure will bring balance. It will return your energy to you. You've poured so much of yourself into someone who didn't know what to do with your depth. You gave love that they were not yet capable of receiving. But none of it was wasted. Every ounce of love you gave became a seed in heaven's soil. God saw it, counted it, and will return it multiplied, not necessarily through the same person, but through divine compensation. Soon, someone will enter your life whose actions will mirror the love they profess. You won't have to question their intentions. Their consistency will heal what inconsistency once broke. But before that happens, you must let God finish exposing what is false. He cannot bring the real while you're still holding the counterfeit. So when the truth unfolds, don't cling to what crumbles. Let it fall, gracefully. God's light doesn't need defense, it reveals by itself. What is meant for you will never hide behind confusion. It will stand in clarity. And as you release what's false, you will notice your spirit growing lighter. You'll begin to smile again, not because everything is fixed, but because you finally understand, it was never your job to fix someone's dishonesty, it was your assignment to recognize it and release it. You'll look back and realize that what felt like heartbreak was actually your graduation. You passed the test of patience, faith, and discernment. You learned to love without losing yourself. You learned that not every "I love you" is a covenant, and not every connection is destiny. Some are simply divine detours, meant to teach you what your heart truly needs. So be still. The exposure is near. It will not destroy you, it will deliver you. It will separate illusion from truth. And when the real story is revealed, you will finally breathe without fear, because you'll know, God was writing your freedom between every line of disappointment. When God begins to expose what has been hidden, He does it with divine precision. Nothing is random, nothing is out of order. Every unanswered text, every unexplained silence, every sudden shift in energy, all of it is part of the revelation. You are not being punished, you are being refined. The light of God is searching through the layers of your life, pulling truth to the surface, not to shame anyone, but to set you free from confusion. You have prayed for understanding, and understanding often comes wrapped in endings. The Spirit of God says, "I am not taking something from you, I am clearing the way for what you prayed for." You asked for love that would last, for peace that wouldn't fade, for honesty that would anchor you. But those prayers cannot live where deception hides. So now the Spirit moves gently through your story, revealing what could not be sustained by truth. You will see it soon, the quiet moments of recognition, the subtle details that make everything click into place. You will say, "Now I understand why that door closed." Do not despise this unveiling. The truth that surfaces now is your safeguard. The world calls it heartbreak, heaven calls it deliverance. What felt like rejection was actually divine intervention. God knows what you don't see yet, He knows the weight of what He's protecting you from. He knows the conversations you were never meant to overhear, the paths you were never meant to walk, the consequences you were never meant to carry. So instead of begging for what is slipping away, thank Him for the rescue hidden inside the loss. Your soul will soon exhale. The heaviness that has followed you for months will begin to lift. It will not happen all at once, it will happen quietly, like dawn breaking over your heart. You will notice small moments of peace, moments when you no longer feel the need to check if they still care, moments when you simply rest. That rest is the proof that God's healing has begun. There is no bitterness in heaven's plan for you. God will never expose to embarrass, He exposes to empower. What He reveals will not make you smaller, it will make you wiser. You will learn to recognize the difference between promises and patterns. You will trust actions more than apologies. You will discern energy more than words. This wisdom is the gift of exposure. Do not chase explanations from the one whose actions failed to match their words. Truth stands without defense. Let them go where their choices lead, and let yourself rise where grace carries you. You are not obligated to wait for someone who chooses confusion over clarity. The love you offered was real, but God is teaching you that real love does not require you to abandon your peace. You will look back and see that this season changed everything. It purified your love. It restored your boundaries. It reminded you that you are not hard to love, you were simply asking love to live where truth had left. The exposure that once felt cruel will reveal itself as compassion. It was heaven's way of saying, I saw what you didn't, and I couldn't let you stay there. God will not leave you in the space between revelation and restoration. Once He uncovers, He begins to rebuild. Slowly, He will weave new connections into your life, people who reflect the sincerity you once longed for. They will speak peace into your life instead of confusion. Their presence will feel safe, not uncertain. They will mirror back to you the kind of loyalty you once gave away so freely. And when they come, you will recognize them by their consistency. You will no longer need signs to know it's real. The peace in your spirit will confirm it. This new chapter will not require you to question where you stand. It will not feel like guessing, it will feel like coming home. Because when something is ordained by God, it comes with clarity. Until that moment arrives, God is drawing you closer to Himself. He wants to be the first voice you hear when you wake and the last you trust before you sleep. He wants to rebuild your confidence in His timing, your faith in His promises, and your joy in His presence. This in-between season is not wasted, it is sacred. It is where He heals what was wounded by inconsistency. It is where He whispers, you are loved. You are seen. You are mine. Let that truth wash over you. You were never meant to live chasing love that keeps running. You were created to walk in the certainty of divine affection. God's love doesn't pull away when you need it most, it surrounds you like air, invisible but constant. Every time your heart breaks, He gathers the pieces, not to glue them back to the same story, but to shape them into something new. One day soon, you will understand the full circle of this revelation. The same person whose actions didn't match their heart will fade into a distant memory, and you will no longer feel the sting. You will wish them peace, because healed hearts hold no grudges. You will realize that God was not exposing them to humiliate, but to elevate you. He was teaching you to recognize the counterfeit so that when the real appears, you will not doubt it. You will wake up lighter. You will breathe without waiting for someone's validation. You will laugh without the fear of loss shadowing your joy. The sun will rise on a new chapter, and you will see that the ending you dreaded was actually the beginning you prayed for. The Spirit of God is saying even now, what I am revealing will release you. What I am removing will renew you. What I am preparing will restore you. He is not done writing your story. The pages ahead are full of peace, stability, and genuine love. The kind of love that does not hide. The kind that shows up. The kind that keeps its word. The kind that honors God. Until then, guard your heart in His presence. Let Him be your comfort in the spaces where human love failed. Let Him rewrite the narrative that heartbreak tried to define. Because the real story, the one God is about to reveal, is not a story of loss, but of liberation. You will soon see why it had to happen this way. You will see why God couldn't let you stay tied to someone whose heart was not ready. And when the truth is fully revealed, you will smile through tears and whisper, "Now I see it, Lord. You were protecting me all along." And heaven will whisper back, "Yes, my child. I exposed the real story so you could finally live the truth."